Hello, everyone, and welcome to Wind Down Wednesday, episode 15. So, I wanted to start tonight by just expressing my gratitude while I wait for everybody to check on. I say this fairly often, and I mean it from the depths of my soul. I'm so privileged to participate in this practice with you, to share this practice with you. I'm so grateful to everyone who has been here from the beginning, or if you've joined us later, if you're here with us live or you watch these after the fact. Either way, you are contributing your vibrations to our practice together. So tonight we're going to talk about vibrations, and I'm really excited about that. And I wanted to acknowledge before we started our discussion how important it is to combine vibrations in this way, to combine intentions in this way with a group practice. We're social people. We're meant to interact with people, and the sum total of our whole is greater than our individual parts. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you to those of you who come every week. I really appreciate it. I love sharing this practice with you. Wednesdays have become the highlight of my week. And originally I picked Wednesdays because it's kind of, it's like hump day, and it's, you're halfway through the week, but you got half a week left to go. And it's easy to kind of get into a slump on Wednesdays. And I wanted to bring some joy to the week, to bring some relaxation, to have stress relief, and also to share some of the knowledge that I've gained over these years, and to channel some of the things that come to me live when we do these discussions and these meditations. Why did I choose vibration? Sometimes I like to say why I picked a topic for a particular week. I've been doing a lot of musical stuff. I'm going to go into my background with music a little bit here and sound. But I've just finished recording a kirtan, which is a call and response song. I posted a little clip of it on my Instagram if you had maybe caught that yesterday. I'll be releasing it here probably in 3 or 4 weeks. It takes a while for the distributor to get it to all the streaming sites, and I will share that on social media. But I've really been in a time of tapping back into this part of my life, of writing music, of bringing sound into my spiritual practice again. It's always been a part of my spiritual practice and my energy work, but more using other people's sounds than producing my own, other than in chant, which I do fairly frequently. But I'm really excited to kind of integrate these different parts of my life. And so when I think about sound, I think about vibration. So I looked up the definition, the official definition of vibration, and there's 2 definitions which I think is really cool, and they definitely tie together. The first one is oscillation about an equilibrium point. So this is the scientific definition, and here we're talking about waves that oscillate around a fixed point. We're talking about sound here, we're talking about light, and we're talking about electromagnetic energy also comes in waves and vibrations. And then, so the second definition is the atmosphere of a place or a person's emotional state. And these are so connected. There's a reason that we've, as a society, we've evolved this term vibes. You're reading someone's vibes, or you're picking up someone's vibes. Sometimes we'll say someone has bad vibes or good vibes. So this is all about that electromagnetic vibration, that field around our bodies and within our bodies, the chakra vortexes that spin within our bodies, and then the etheric body that's just outside of our physical body, and then the aura, which can extend into infinity. So we can feel these things both in ourselves and with other people. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that tonight. And then we're going to do a meditation where we feel into the physical body and start to recognize some of our own vibrations. So there's a common phrase that I have seen increasingly over the last few years, and especially this year, and people will talk about raising your vibration. I want to raise my vibration. Let's raise our vibration. And I wanted to speak to that a little bit because, in my opinion, it's a little more complex than that. It's a little more nuanced than just saying raise your vibration. I understand what they're going for, but I wanted to delve into it a little bit because it definitely is in line with what we're talking about tonight. So I'm going to use examples here, mostly using sound. My expertise in terms of scientific waves is mostly in sound, and energy for me is more of a spiritual. There's a lot of quantum mechanics and really amazing science things that they discovered and research they're doing about the electromagnetic field. But I'm more comfortable with the sound terminology, so I'm going to use examples from sound. And again, as I mentioned at the beginning, I've recently made these sort of integrations, these connections in my life where I'm bringing music and sound back into my healing and my spiritual practice. So I wanted to go a little bit into my background with music and sound. I have been musical my whole life. There's a joke in my family that I sang before I talked, and I was a singer as a child. I started playing piano and violin, clarinet, then later oboe. I just recently picked my clarinet back up. I've got my grandfather's soprano saxophone that I've been attempting to learn, which is interesting, learning a new instrument at the in your 40s when you're like mastered other instruments. It's kind of like, I've got to start all over again, but it's been a challenge and it's been awesome. I play in a jazz combo with my husband and we've just released some songs there. So music has always been a part of my life. I have a bachelor's degree in music, and at one point I thought I would be a music teacher. I looked into doing music therapy to combine my love of psychology and music. And I ended up deciding, as I discussed last week, to kind of go into this broader field of energy work that I was really not familiar with at the time. I took a leap of faith because something in my intuition was telling me that was what I was called to do. I've used sound healing as a body worker, as a massage therapist and an energy worker since the very beginning. I've always been very particular about the music that I play in my session because the vibration of music can be healing, or it can be the opposite of that. I don't know. I just had this experience today. I was in the car with my husband, or maybe that was yesterday, and this song was playing, and it was a Quiet Riot song from the 80s. It's called Come On, Feel the Noise. And the guy was just like yelling, and there was this electric guitar, and we were not vibrating in sync at that time. We were in disharmony or dissonance, me and that song. And I was like, I can't hear this right now. And maybe in a different situation or a different mood, it would have been okay. So it's important to recognize that your vibrations change and shift, and there's a flow to this. Things are always moving. That's what we're going for. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So I ended up, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, it's on my website, but I went to school and I worked as a diagnostic ultrasound technologist for 16 years. So I should write these down ahead of time because I feel like every time I have a date, I'm like, So I just this week, as I was thinking about this topic and as I was writing my notes for this, I realized that this is completely connected to everything I do. Not only did it give me much more in-depth medical knowledge than I had as a massage therapist, it gave me a greater understanding of the organs and the physiology of our bodies, which has helped immensely with the medical intuitive work I do with animals. But it's also all about sound. And I was already familiar with some physics of sound. We studied that when I was in music school. But ultrasound is a completely different type of sound. It's a high frequency sound that's outside of our range of hearing. And it's used in a couple different ways. So for diagnostic ultrasound, which is what I did, we send sound waves, these high frequency sound waves, into the body. And then as they come back, they're processed into electrical signals that we use to look at the body, to look at organs like the liver or the thyroid, to look for blood clots in the legs. So that's the work that I did. But there's also therapeutic ultrasound. And I think this is really interesting because it really illustrates the power of sound on our physical bodies. So they use therapeutic ultrasound, which is at a slightly different frequency than diagnostic and a much higher power. It's much stronger. And they actually use that to destroy tissue. So they'll use it on adhesions. You may have gone to physical therapy. They actually use it to cavitate, to destroy tumors in the body now. They use it in the liver sometimes, and in other parts of the body. They're doing a lot of research in the medical field about therapeutic ultrasound. So the idea that that sound at a certain vibration can actually destroy tissue, which of course we're focused on destroying tissue we don't want there. But there's so much power in that. And there's power in sound and in music and using that vibration in an intentional way in your daily life. I was thinking about this again in terms of sound and this integration that I've been doing this year, kind of stepping into this role as a healer more, and now stepping back into music or recommitting to music and sound. This is a form of bringing my vibrations, my electromagnetic field vibrations, back into harmony. So I want to talk a little bit about the chakras and vibrations and vibrations in the physical body, because that's what we're going to focus on tonight. And I'll get to what we're going to do with the meditation. I'll talk a little bit more about sound when we get to that. What's wrong with that phrase, raising your vibration? Why did I pick that apart a little bit? So we've talked briefly about the chakras. I kind of pointed one day to my wall hanging here that has all the symbols and the colors of the chakras, and the colors of the light of these different colors all vibrate at a different frequency as well. So that's another way that light is used. Light is used as therapy sometimes, as well as sound. And so your lower chakras, the first three chakras are your physical chakras. They vibrate in the physical realm, and they vibrate at a lower frequency. The sound is actually lower in pitch, and that's a slower vibration. The waves are slower. And then as we get up here to the crown, which is a completely spiritual, the heart is your transition. And then as you get into this, the throat and the third eye, and then the crown chakra, you're transitioning into the spiritual realm, into the out of the physical and into the spiritual. And so the vibrations go up as you go up. So your pitch goes up in terms of where the chakra is vibrating, which means that the waves get faster. And that's what people are talking about when they're saying raise your vibration. So that's this idea of connecting to God and expanding in that way. But I'd like to introduce the idea of expanding your vibrations versus raising your vibrations. I've been doing my own sound practice for the month of October. And what I've realized is that I had some disharmony, some dissonance, or some energetic stagnation holding in these first three chakras, in these lower chakras of the body. And sometimes as healers or as spiritual people, we're very focused on this part of the body. And I've talked a little bit about my struggle with my body, and it's easier for me to be in a spiritual realm and kind of connecting with stuff that's not here. I find the physical world to be a little bit dense. But what I'm realizing is we want to deepen that vibration. We want to be connected to the earth. We want to be physically here. We're physically here in this body at this moment in history for a reason. We have a gift to share with the world. And if we're not here, if we're not expanded in the physical plane, then raising our vibration doesn't really do us any good. And there's kind of a stereotypical view of somebody who's into kind of the new age as being kind of flaky or flighty. Ungrounded is another word for that. So if you're vibrating up here and everything's going well up here, but you're completely disconnected from the lower part of your body, or you're stagnant, you're not vibrating at all, then you're not functioning as a full being in this realm, because we are in a physical realm. We're manifesting physical changes in our lives with our intention, with our vibration, whether we're aware of it or not. So it's important to deepen those low vibrations and sit in those, to expand those vibrations and not forget about them, not just focus on the spiritual. And the spiritual is really fun. It's very cool. I've had just crazy experiences that if they hadn't happened to me and someone was telling me about them, I might be like, that sounds weird, but they've happened to me, so I believe them. But the physical's not quite as sexy in that way. It's a little bit more, it seems a little bit more like drudgery, at least to me. And right now I'm speaking from my personal experience, which may not be yours, but some of this may be resonating with you. That's another good vibrational sound term. So there's much joy to be had in this physical body. That root chakra that connects us to the earth, it connects us to abundance. The second sacral chakra, that is our flow. It's the kind of well of our creativity. This is where we get sensual and sexual pleasures. Our third chakra is the center of will. It's kind of our personal power, how we make things happen in life. And then the heart, of course, is love. The throat is your communication and creativity. The brow is your ability to see clearly, both in this plane, but also in the spiritual realms. And then your crown is that ultimate connection to the divine. So each chakra has its place. And if we ignore those first three, we're really doing ourselves a disservice. And I wanted to use just a brief example because I've talked a lot about my own life, and I feel like that helps people sometimes connect and integrate what I'm talking about, assimilate what I'm talking about. So if you've read my book, if you've read any of my blog posts, if you've watched many of these Wind Down Wednesdays, you know that I have a history of infertility. I have endometriosis, which is a disorder of the female pelvic region. And I also have urinary bladder issues, which is in that same area. So clearly I have some sacral chakra, some second chakra stagnation, some disharmony or dissonance going on. And if I can move that area, if I can get that vibration to expand in whatever way works for me in terms of healing, then that disharmony has a chance to possibly resolve. And I did want to make a caveat here, and I talk about this in my book. In terms of infertility, this is not necessarily a problem. You may have a soul contract when you came into this body in this lifetime that you are not meant to birth a child. That's kind of where I feel like I'm at. I feel like no matter how much healing I do, I'm not going to be able to carry a pregnancy. It's just not what I'm here to do. And I would never want anyone, there's so much shame about infertility as it is. I would never want anyone to hear my words about this as shaming. I'm just pointing out that I have most of my physical issues are sort of in this area of my body, and that's indicative of a lack of harmony in my vibration in this area. So tonight's meditation, I talk so much about sound, you might think that we're going to use sound, and we're not, and there's a couple reasons for that. I've done some test runs using chant and sound through the Facebook Live, and it tends to distort, and there's some issues with the speaker that are distracting to the viewers. So I would love to do some sound live at some point. I may investigate a different way to do that. I've also thought about doing a longer Zoom conference where we can actually interact, and we spend maybe 2 hours and do a longer workshop. So that's something that may be coming in the future, and I would definitely include sound in that. And I would also refer you to my website, which is paulataylorenergy.com. There's a great meditation on there called Guided Meditation and Chant for Anxiety. And in that one, I take you through one of my favorite chants, and we move from a high pitch higher up in this vibrational field down to a low pitch. And it's a great way to kind of clear that energetic space using sound. So I refer you to that one if you'd like to start practicing with sound. And again, stay tuned. I'm going to be releasing some things with sound and music that are all about vibration and clearing space and things like that. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to work more with that electromagnetic field, that field that's within and around the body. I'm really excited to do this. If you've never worked with energy before, this should be a fun one. We're going to work with our hands to build some energy, and then we're going to direct that energy, I went right to here, at the area of your body where you are finding disharmony or dissonance, where there's stagnation. And your intuition, as usual, will tell you that when you check in with your body. If you're having chronic pain in an area, that means there's disharmony, there's dissonance in that area, and expanding vibrational, the vibrational field of that area. I'm pointing to my shoulder because my shoulder also hurts sometimes. That can help resolve or at least lessen the discomfort that you feel there. So we're going to scan through the body. As usual, whatever stands out to you and what comes into your mind is usually what's coming from your intuition. If you have multiple areas of discomfort, just start with whatever seems right to you tonight, whatever feels appropriate. And I also wanted to say, we're going to be using our hands. This is a physical meditation where we're actually going to be sending energy with intention out of our hands. So if you are working with the back of your body or an area of your body that's not easily reached, do your best to get close to that. So let's say if you have back pain, put your hands on the front of your body in the area where the pain is on your back, and then you'll just use your intention to direct it to the back. Energy is very intelligent when you are working with healing energy, and when we tap into that divine source where things like Reiki come from, the energy knows what to do. So you don't have to be, that's why we can do a distance session. I could work on somebody on the other side of the world and it would be just as effective, sometimes more so than if they're in the room with me. So energy is all about intention. If you can't reach the part of your body that's bothering you, like let's say it's a foot and you're in a chair, just put your hands on your leg and kind of direct that energy with your intention to that foot or leg. This is something that I might do in a beginning energy class where we were just learning how to kind of feel into energy. It's a very subtle thing, just like everything else we do. It's a little bit abstract. I'm going to direct you through an exercise. I keep doing this. We're going to do this to build that energy up and really feel it before we start touching our bodies with our hands. And if you don't feel anything, as usual, be gentle with yourself. You may not feel anything the first time this happens. And there's different ways you can feel this. You may just feel a sense of easing of the tension. You may feel heat coming out of your hands. You may actually feel vibrations coming out of your hands and into your body. You may not feel anything. So just be gentle with yourself as usual. You can practice this numerous times. And as you practice this, it's a skill like any other skill. This is a learned skill. So if you don't feel anything tonight, don't get frustrated and think, oh, I just don't have this talent. I just can't do this. Just keep working at it and it will come. And this is a really powerful practice because you can do this on yourself anytime that you're feeling disharmony in yourself, anytime that you're having a physical sensation. You can use this for emotions as well, especially if you're feeling emotions in your physical body. So be gentle with yourself, have fun with this, and let's begin our meditation. So as usual, get nice and comfortable. It's good if you're sitting up. Sometimes when you're laying down, you fall asleep. That's okay if that happens. Don't beat yourself up. We've all been there during a meditation or the end of a yoga class. I've actually fallen asleep. But it's good to have, especially for this meditation, we want some part of our body grounded. So if you're in a chair, ground your feet down, really get connected to the earth. If you're sitting on the ground, just ground your sit bones, your bottom into the earth. If you're lying down, you have that whole back part of your body that you can really ground down into the earth. And as we usually do, start with a couple of nice deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. You can add that ha sound to vibrate your vagus nerve. That helps bring you out of the sympathetic and into the parasympathetic nervous system. And as you take these first few cleansing breaths, start to scan through your body. Notice where you're holding any tension, if there's pain or discomfort. If you're feeling emotional right now, if you're going through a difficult time emotionally, you can locate where that is in your body. And just see what stands out and catalog that. We're going to come back to this area. If nothing's coming to you, that's fine. It may come to you by the time we get started with our physical part of this. You can also just choose an area where you have chronic issues if nothing's feeling in disharmony, if nothing's standing out to you tonight. So let's just get fully present in the body before we start the energy exercise. You can imagine that crown chakra just above the top of your head. Imagine that opening gently. Invite your waterfall of joy, that divine golden light, that unconditional love. Invite that to flow in through the top of your head. Let it come into your face, your neck and jaw, your throat. Allow this energy to travel down into your shoulders and really focus tonight on bringing this energy down the arms toward the hands. Let it come slowly down each upper arm, this beautiful golden unconditional light of the divine. Take a nice deep breath here. Encourage this flow of energy down to the elbows. Let this light, this love, this energy flow into your forearms and down to your wrists and hands. Gently allow this light, this energy to flow into your chest and upper back. Let it come into your belly and mid-back, your low back and low belly. Spend a moment here, maybe take a deep breath into the hips and pelvis. Imagine drawing the breath in through your nose, all the way down through the head and into that hip pelvis region. And as you breathe out, blow it out through your mouth, down into the legs. Let this energy come fully into your thighs, this beautiful golden white light of unconditional love. This waterfall of joy, let it flow down to your knees. And again here, take a nice deep breath in through your nose. Draw that energy all the way down through your head and the body into the knees. And then blow that breath out down through the shins and calves toward the feet. Let that energy flow down the lower legs into the ankles and feet. Let that energy flow all the way down into the earth. Let it connect you to that rich, dark earth energy, like fertile soil, feeding your creativity, feeding your growth. Imagine digging your feet into a beautiful beach or a loamy garden, rich, dark soil. And then as you're ready, come back to the arms and hands, and one more time, let's draw that beautiful golden white light, that unconditional divine love, that connection to all that is, to the source of everything. Draw that through the top of your head and down into your shoulders. Let it flow into your upper arms and down into your elbows. Set the intention for that beautiful golden white light to flow into your forearms, wrists, and hands. And then bring your hands up and hold them several inches apart. Just notice first if you feel anything here. You might feel a little bit of pulsing. You can see my hands pulsing with the energy that I feel there. If you don't feel anything, that's fine. But just notice what you feel. You can kind of draw your hands apart a little bit, see how the energy changes. You might feel it stretch like taffy. And then explore out to the edges of where maybe you don't feel that energy anymore. Maybe you can get all the way to the full length of your arms and still feel that connection of energy. And slowly bring your hands back toward each other. And this time, bring your hands all the way together so that they're touching very gently at first. We're doing this with intention. We're doing this with love and honor for this energy that we've called in, this energy of our own body and our connection to the divine. Go ahead and rub your palms together. Build up a little heat here, a little friction. This is a great way to build energy. You may have done this before in a yoga class. You use it a lot in Kundalini yoga. And as you're ready, You'll know. Let your intuition guide you. Gently bring the hands apart again and notice, you see my hands went much further apart, much quicker. So I've increased my ball of energy here. I've increased the expansion of the vibration of this energy that we're feeling here by building that heat and that friction up, by intentionally rubbing my hands together to build energy. So you can play around with your ball a little bit. You can kind of move it. This is fun to do with another person. You could practice passing your ball of energy back and forth. And you can do this exercise anytime you'd like, anytime you feel like you want to increase your energy. If you're doing this self-healing practice, it's a great exercise to tap into your energy, to start feeling this physical sensation. And again, if you don't feel anything, that's okay. You can go back to rubbing your hands together. You can do this completely with intention as we come back into the body. But you might notice your hands heating up here. You might actually feel the energy. My hands are just moving on their own. I'm not really doing it. They're just doing what they're doing right now. And this is what it's like to work with energy. If you work with healing energy in a session with someone, you're feeling into their energy and directing it maybe into a greater state of harmony with their permission, of course, with their spiritual consent. So as you're here, you can play with your ball a little bit more. You can go back to rubbing your hands together again if you need to, but scan back through your body. Notice where you're finding areas of disharmony, areas of dissonance, and bring this ball of energy to that area. Let your hands, they may just guide themselves there. Again, my hands are just moving on their own, and I don't know if you can see, of course, I'm down at that sacral chakra, which is not surprising. As your hands come into contact, let them completely contact your body. And again, if you're working with the back of your body, just bring your hands to the closest area on the front of your body you can get to. If you're working with someplace like your shoulders, then it's not probably comfortable. You can actually cross the hands. Sometimes we don't like to cross hands with energy. I'll let you feel into that, whether that feels appropriate. If crossing your hands feels good like this, that's fine. You can come below the shoulders and just kind of rest in the heart area and have the intention that you're going to your shoulders. You can rest on the top if that's comfortable. Whatever feels right in your body, as usual, is what your intuition is calling for, is the right thing for you to do. There's no wrong way to do this exercise. There's no wrong way to give yourself love in this way, to invite divine love into your physical body. So let your hands settle wherever they've come to and notice what you feel. Maybe you feel heat. Maybe you feel vibration. Maybe you feel nothing. Maybe your mind, your ego mind, is telling you that this is stupid, and that's perfectly okay. That's a perfectly acceptable response to this, especially if you've never done this before. You may be wondering whether it even works or how you ended up here. That's completely fine. Just keep your hands where they are, because they're doing the work whether you're aware of it or not. And reconnect with your intention here. We're going to go into some affirmations, which we've been using a lot. And when you're in this grounded state, when you're in this intentional state of expanding your vibration, whatever frequency of vibration you're working at, these affirmations become very powerful. They start to oscillate through your energetic field. They start to vibrate within your body and your energetic field, and they can make great change when sometimes we can't with our mind. This bypasses the mind, all of this work. That's why it's so profound. Take deep breaths as you need to. If emotions come up, that is completely normal, and that is a good sign. That's a sign that these vibrations are maybe stirring some things up. And as we discussed last week, resistance is very common when you're doing this type of work. Our ego doesn't want us to deepen our vibrations, to expand our vibrations. So you might be getting those mind messages that I was just going into, and just notice them and then move on. Smile at yourself like you would a little kid who said something really nonsensical to you, but you love that child and you're not going to send any negativity. You're just going to smile and laugh and say, oh, that's my beautiful little boy or my beautiful little girl. Send that kind of energy to your resistance if it's coming up. Check back in here with your hands. Notice what you feel, if anything's changed physically. If you're guided to move your hands to a different area, that's completely okay. Always go with your intuition here. It may be that you started with an area that didn't need as much attention, and now something else is calling for that intentional healing. Deep breaths as you need to. If you get emotional especially, just breathe into it. You can always take a break. If you're going to remove your hands from the body, we want to do this in a very respectful way. We want to honor ourselves. So if you're working, anywhere you're working, you don't want to just pull your hand up off. I can't even do it. You don't want to just pull your hand up off your body. You want to very gently, with honor, like you worked with that ball at the beginning, you want to draw your hand away from the body. And sometimes when we're doing this work, you may be guided to work just outside the body. You may be a couple inches away rather than right on the body. And again, that's an intuitive message that you should honor. You can move your hands around a little bit if that feels good. We're going to step into our intention here in a minute. So spend the last moment here really focused on the physical. Notice what you feel. Notice if you're having any changes in the body. Notice what comes up for you emotionally or in your mind. And be gentle about all of it. Most of the time, this disharmony, this dissonance has been with us for a long time. And we want to gently encourage it to come into harmony with the vibration we're intentionally expanding here today. So we're going to say some affirmations. These really do work more powerfully if you can say them out loud. But if you are not in a place where you can do that comfortably, just repeat them silently to yourself. And as usual, if your own affirmation comes to you, or if the phrase that I say feels like it needs to be a little bit different when you say it, by all means, tap into your intuition and let yourself make those changes. I lovingly step into my intention to heal myself today. I allow my vibrations to deepen and expand. I let go of my fear. I encourage harmony to come into all parts of my being, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. My vibrations are divine, and I deserve to expand them. As I open to divine love, I deepen and expand my vibrations. As my vibrations deepen and expand, I become more loving with myself and with others. I honor my personal rate of healing. I heal myself with loving gentleness. I invite divine vibration to fill my body today and every day. Check back in one last time with your hands, with the physical body under the hands. Notice what you feel here. Has anything shifted? Are you feeling anything different within your hands? Has anything changed from when we very first started placing the hands on the body? Take a final deep breath in through the nose and let it out with a deep sigh. And then very slowly, let your hands come away from the body with love, with respect, with intention. You can come back to that ball of energy if you'd like. Bring them together at the heart. You can place them over the heart. You can put them in a prayer position. This is a good way to seal an energy healing session, bringing the energy back into your heart, letting that warmth, that vibration of harmony flow into this center of love, to this seat of the soul. Send yourself some gratitude for completing this practice tonight, for stepping in to a greater harmony with yourself and the universe around you, for inviting your vibrations to deepen and expand and elevate as appropriate. Let your hands come away from the heart now. Just let them settle in your lap. You can leave them face up, or if you feel like you need a little bit of grounding, if you need to come back into the physical body, turn them face down and rest them lightly on your legs. And one last time, notice now, I feel like I'm swaying back and forth. I feel this energy moving throughout my whole body. Even though I was focused on one area, the energy of my entire body has shifted here. Let yourself notice if that's the case for you. Let yourself notice if your body feels like it's moving more freely in the area that you were focused on. Has your pain or discomfort changed at all? Has your emotional state changed since we started? And again, send yourself gratitude for completing this practice. Send gratitude to the other people who have joined together in harmony to expand our vibration beyond what we can do as a single being. Repeat after me, silently or aloud. I am fully present in my body. I am fully present in my body. I am fully present in my body. If you'd like, you can gently close that crown chakra, or leave it open with the intention that you're connected to your highest good, that you're open to divine wisdom. Once more, just scan back down. Let that energy flow back through the head and into the neck, down the shoulders, through the arms and hands. You can wiggle your fingers a little bit as you come back to this moment. Let your energy come down into the chest and upper back, the belly and mid back, to the low belly and low back. Let it flow effortlessly into your hips and pelvis, down through the legs, into the knees and shins, the calves and ankles, all the way down to the feet. You can wiggle your toes a little bit here, gently coming back into your conscious mind. Take one last deep breath in through your nose. Let it out however you'd like. Draw that breath all the way down through the head, the body, the legs, into the feet. And then let it out into your field, into that energetic area around your body, filling that space with love and joy, expanding that harmony of vibration into the area around your body. Move your body around a little bit more, just encouraging yourself to come back. And as you're ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you so much for practicing this meditation with me tonight. I hope that you'll continue to use this practice. As you do, you'll notice that energy will expand. You'll start to feel it more easily. It's subtle, but it's there. And as you build that skill, you'll notice energy showing up in ways that maybe you didn't before. And that is expanding that vibration. That's deepening this connection to the earth. And it's raising and elevating your connection to the spiritual realms, to the divine. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next week for Wind Down Wednesday.